Hey guys, welcome to this week's review of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Woo! Okay, let's get into it. This was a cute little episode. I really enjoyed it. So let's just get right into it. Let's start off with Ashley. Ashley, she went to go visit her family. Her mom, her uncle, he has like a weird name. Uncle Lard, Uncle Bub, Uncle Fat, or something weird. I can't remember. But whatever, she goes to visit her family. You know, baby Dean is so cute. Her other baby, I don't know the name of that baby, but that baby is super cute and tiny. Oh my gosh. And Ashley with the TMI every time, right? But I don't really mind it because I never had kids. And it's good to know. It's good to know what to expect, so I don't have them. I'm joking. I mean, I don't know, but I wouldn't be mad because she's talking about her uteruses. Oh my gosh, is it painful? I mean, I don't know what's going on with her, but it's her experience. I bet a lot of women go through that. So for her speaking on that, even though it may be a little, whatever, I don't mind. The only time it went a little too far for me is when they showed the placenta and they were preparing it, and it just looked, I mean, I never saw a placenta before. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. I was expecting something a little bit more, I don't know, jelly, liquidy, kind of maybe more transparency. I was not expecting, it looked like a slab of beef. It looked too meaty. It just looked too... Okay, I know I'm being a little immature right now, but I did not need to see them prepare that. It was just really weird to me. But other than that, I don't mind her talking about her experience with childbirth. Whatever, it is what it is. So she tells her family that Michael, he wants to start producing movies, and that maybe Ashley can help him with that. Maybe it's something they can do together. I mean, her uncle talked about, when he was younger and he was having his kids, he didn't have the luxury to do stuff like that. But I think he needs to understand that Michael is not in his 30s. Michael is 61 years old. So he has been pretty much working his entire life, and he's established, right? He has his career established. I'm not counting his pocketbook, so I don't know what kind of money he has, right? But I'm assuming if you're going into producing, because it's expensive, that you do have some coin, right? So it's really kind of hard to compare because it's a different scenario it's a different scenario basically, right? Should they do it? Should they not? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not my life. I don't know what kind of money they have, right? I don't know if they have a budget or what's going to go on. I think if you do it in a smart way and you make sure that you don't get carried away with it, I think it could be something interesting to do, right? I mean, you're 61, you lived all your life maybe doing the quote-unquote right thing, so maybe it's time to follow your passion, even though you do have 2 young children that you have to consider. So I don't know when his will or like I said, I don't know his bank account. I don't know how much money he has in there, but I would hope that whatever he does, he is going to consider his family, and then he has kids that are a lot older. So hopefully, they're more established. They don't really need the money like that. But I mean, okay, I don't want to pull a Giselle where, Karen is saying that she's wishing death on Ray and all that jazz. I don't want to do that, but listen, I'm just being a little real here. He's in his 60s. I feel like what the average age that men tend to live up to is their 80s, being conservative here. So that's 20 years, 20 years is a long ass time, right? But in those 20 years, are you going to be healthy, moving around and active and you never know what could happen. But okay, I know Michael is not the most attractive man right now, but for 61, not to say he doesn't look 61, but he still seems kind of active to me, right? Like he stands up straight. It seems that he works out. It seems like he is pretty healthy. So who knows, right? But then that will last your kids up to when, if it's 20 years, then they're going to be in the early 20s, maybe late teens, right? So they're still going to be relatively young. So I don't know. Not my life. If they want to go and produce movies and do that and that works out for them, sure. Now, the casting couch thing, am I concerned about that? Am I concerned that someone like Michael Darby will use his position as producer to kind of manipulate young, handsome actors to kind of do what he wants them to do and be inappropriate? I am worried about that, but it hasn't happened yet, so I'm going to keep my mouth closed on that one. Next, Robyn and Juan. Robyn and Juan, I said before, they really look good together, right? On paper, it's like, yep, they make sense. And this was a cute scene with them, right? I was expecting it to go left for some reason, but when she told him, when you give me advice, can you just be a little softer in your delivery? Like, in the past, you've been kind of harsh, when he said that. I guess she was in bed all day and he was like, that's unattractive, blah, blah, blah. And he even said in that scene, maybe I would have been softer if he had a baby girl, right? And I feel like it wasn't just him commenting on the fact that they have two boys. I feel like it was him in a sly kind of way saying, I want a baby girl. That, if you have a baby girl, then my behavior is going to change. I'm going to be softer. I'm going to be kinder. I'm going to be nicer to you. I don't know. That's just, I don't want to say it's a red flag because nobody's perfect. So I don't want to nitpick every little thing that someone says and try to find something sinister in it. I really don't. But even when he said I'll be a better coach, right? And I know maybe he said coach because she brought up the whole, I know you're a coach and you go into coach mode, but you need to drop the whistle. And when she says drop the whistle, I mean, to me, I interpreted that as, I don't want you to be my coach in a way. I want you to be my husband, right? And yes, when you're in a relationship with someone, you're going to play many different roles. Yeah, I understand sometimes you're going to be the coach, but you shouldn't be the coach all the time, right? And it was just weird how he said that. I don't know. And then they're building this house and everything, and they're not, I don't know, they're not married yet, and then he's pushing her to have a baby girl. I don't know with them, right? I just don't feel like it's a great idea to kind of want to build this house and have a kid, because for me, just looking at them, just looking at their interaction, I'm just not feeling their relationship. And I'm not the only one. It's just something doesn't seem right there to me for some reason. But I mean, it ended well. He did, he took her feedback, right? And he said he'll do better. So let me not be a negative Nancy. Let me be optimistic and say everything is going to work out. Even though in the trailer, you see him kind of running out on her. So I'm kind of curious to see what that moment is about. So who knows? Giselle and Grace, moving on to Giselle and Grace, and Giselle giving Grace driving lessons. Oh my God. Now, seeing Grace drive, I can now see why she failed 5 times or 4 times. And it was a hilarious scene, but I don't think you should be screaming while you're driving. You're in control. It's like she's crashing into the pylons and she's screaming. It's like, ah! You can pump the brakes, right? If you want to stop, you really don't have to keep going over the curve. But I get it. I totally understand. Like, you're nervous and you're freaking out. So whatever. She's young. She'll learn, right? And I really like Giselle with her daughters because we see a different side of her, right? Like, her daughters are pretty hard on her and shade her all the time. So, like, her daughters are kind of getting her back for, like, how Giselle acts in the group, right? She may not get it from the other ladies, but she gets it from her daughters. But Giselle really has a lot of patience, right? Because I know, like, if it was in my situation growing up, like, I probably would be yelled at and screamed at, and then they would freak out and I would freak out, and it would make everything worse. So I really like how Giselle was very calm, even though, internally she was probably like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I trust her to drive by herself at this point. But at the end of the day, it takes practice. Sure, you may not be great at the beginning, but if you have someone there that has patience with you, right, and they're willing to help you, then hopefully eventually you'll get better. So that was a cute scene and it was hilarious. Moving on, Mia spoke to her mom via Skype or whatever, and she was kind of speaking about how her and her mom, they're trying to build a relationship, but it seems like the mom is sort of preoccupied with her younger sister, and her younger sister has kids and they live together, so she's more focused on taking care of her grandchildren, right? And not really fostering a relationship with Mia. We're gonna see how it pans out, but hopefully it will just get better and better. It's going to take time. Even though, yeah, I understand that's your mom, that's your daughter, you have blood ties, but even though you have blood ties, you don't really have that relationship. In a way, they are strangers. So it's not going to be the snap of the fingers and then you guys are going to have a tight bond. It's going to take time to develop, and it may move slowly. And I think that, I don't know, it's weird because I get Mia's perspective, right? Like, yes, that is your mom, right? And I think her inner child being abandoned by her parents, right, at a young age, I think her inner child wants her mom to kind of put in that extra effort and reach out to her, right? Like, she wants her mom to have that yearning to connect. But I think that, I don't know, I think she just has to mourn that. And she probably knows that, right? It's nothing new, but she has to mourn that maybe she's never going to get that. And the relationship between her and her mom may be more of a situation where it's an adult to an adult, right? It's an adult relationship. It's not that child-mother relationship, if that makes sense. So you need to, like, adjust your expectations and accept that she may not be able to give you what your inner child wants, and that's something that you just need to heal within yourself. Because if you go into that situation always expecting that from her and that's not what she has to give, you're just gonna keep getting hurt, and the resentment's gonna build, and it's gonna really be hard. It's gonna be hard to move forward with that. But I understand, like, it's her own journey, so she needs to figure that out for herself. And hopefully the relationship improves. We see in the preview for the next episode, they're going to have a conversation about that. So we'll see how that unfolds. So now, moving forward to the not the grand finale, but the major thing that happened this episode, which is the dynamic between Chris and Candace. can I say this? I always say this. Candace is so cute. I love her style. And even all the ladies, like, have you guys noticed that all the ladies looked absolutely beautiful this episode? They really do. Oh, wait. Speaking of beautiful, let me touch on Wendy as well. Wendy, she looked absolutely gorgeous. I love her glasses and the cheetah print. You know that scene when she's going over her business plan with Eddie? She looks stunning, right? But here's the thing with Wendy. I'm just not buying this whole, I don't know how to put a business together. Like, come on. You okay, listen, I understand you may not know all the ins and out, but you do know that, okay, you need a budget. You need to figure out how much money does it take to make the candles? What's the price point? You know, like, what do you want to sell the candles for? These are like basic things, and maybe she doesn't want to say these things on camera. Like, I totally understand. You don't want to say it cost me 50 cents to make the candles, and I'm gonna sell them for $15. I understand you don't want to say that on camera, but I don't know. I feel like she doesn't have a storyline, and she's trying to make this candle thing her storyline, and she's playing this dumb role like, I don't know what to do. Yet last season, you keep saying, I have 4 degrees, I'm so smart. And it's like, you don't know this, and you're married to a lawyer, come on. Like, I'm sorry, Wendy, I'm not buying it. These scenes are not really interesting to me, right? But it works, it's okay, because I feel like there's other things going on, at least with the other ladies, that I can tolerate a little bit of filler. But I feel like Karen is kind of filler in her personal scenes, talking about her candle as well. It's like, I don't really care about that, but Karen's funny, at least, right? In her moments when she's sort of throwing light shade at Wendy's candles, like, you know, Wendy's candles are great for a small room, you know, maybe a powder room. My candles, they have 3 wicks. That means they can cover a larger area. Like, you know, she's so silly that even though there's not much going on in her scenes, she's at least funny and entertaining to watch. Not to say that Wendy isn't interesting to watch, but I don't know, Karen's funny and Wendy's not that funny to me, right? She's not. So watching her scenes, especially when it comes off as like performative and really fake and doesn't really fit her character, it's just, I'm not buying it, and it's not interesting. So next season, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna be back, right, if she chooses to. Next season, Wendy, you're going to need a storyline, okay? And it can't be you selling towels or something like that. We're going to need something a bit more substantial from you. Okay, next, now we can go to the grand finale. Candace and Chris. Oh my gosh. Candace and Chris. I think I said this in my last review. I feel like Candace definitely is setting him up at this point. This is a setup. This is a setup to make him look bad. I just don't understand. It's not like Candace can't find a manager, right? Yes, if she finds someone on the outside, would she have to be more vigilant to make sure they're not screwing her over and all that jazz? Yeah, right? She may need to hire a lawyer to look over the contract to make sure she's not getting screwed over and da. Yes. But in the end, I feel like that would be not only better for her career, but it would be better for her marriage. Because it's just pretty clear to me that Chris doesn't want to be her manager, right? And I feel like he is her manager mostly because of the show. and they know that it's gonna look bad if Chris doesn't have a job. So I feel like Candace was like, okay, well, you could just be my manager, right? So at least you have something to do on camera and we have something to shoot, and at least it's interesting, right? That's how I feel about it, because his attitude, he doesn't seem too interested in doing it, right? And if you're managing somebody and they're shooting their first music video, you should be there to make sure everything is running smoothly, right? You can cancel your cooking class, or you can push it to another day, right? Because I feel like there's some way you can work around it. You're not doing that because, I don't want to say you're being spiteful, but I feel like he's being a little bit spiteful or a little bit stubborn, or he wants to show her, I have stuff of my own, I have things to do, so I can't be there for your music video. And okay, I kind of get where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, this is her first music video. It's a big deal. She kind of needs you there to make sure everything is organized and running smoothly. Because if you're the talent, at the end of the day, I do understand you got to do what you got to do, right? But if you're the talent, right, you don't want to be running around making sure everything's set up, making sure everything is running smoothly. In an ideal situation, you want to make sure, like, all you want to be focused on is making sure that you look good, making sure that you have the choreography down, make sure your acting is good. You don't want to be worrying about, is there cars, is there this, is there that. You want to just come on set and things be organized, right? And that's, like, if you have a manager, that's what they should be doing for you, right? Making sure everything is cool. So, I don't know. Like, he could have postponed it, like his cooking class. It's not that serious, right? So I just get the vibe he doesn't want to do it. And then you go to the music, fast forwarding to the music video now, right? The shoot. The cars, he's supposed to get cars, luxury cars. The cars aren't there, right? And then not only that, you have Candace's mom, you have Mia being super messy, right? But I don't really mind that, to be honest, because I agree with Giselle. You know, she's asking the questions we all kind of want to know. She's giving us the tea. But Dorothy, I'm sorry, Dorothy, you're not like a cast member, right? Like, Mia is like, okay, I kind of expect her to be messy because she's a cast member. She doesn't know Candace. There's no loyalty, right? And there's no real, I know they're beefing on Twitter and all that jazz, but it's not that serious, right? There's no real repercussions for Mia being messy. But with Dorothy, I mean, that's your daughter. You know, that's your daughter. Whether you're on the show or off the show, right? Candace will always be your daughter. And you're really kind of effing up that relationship. Because the way that Dorothy, this was the worst I've ever seen Dorothy. I'm gonna be honest with you. The way that Dorothy was carrying on in that scene at the music video, like, I don't know how Candace is gonna be able to move forward with her, right? And Chris as well. I don't know how both of them are going to be able to move forward at this point. Unless it's all planned, right? Unless it's like, okay, we're going to, you know, mess around. We're going to make it look like this so we have a storyline. Which I don't really buy. Unless Chris is a really good actor, right? Because he got me convinced. I think he was legit upset in that moment. So Dorothy going around and doing all that, like, how is Candace going to be okay with that? Like, your relationship is going to be so strained at that point, right? Like, that's just, I don't know. I mean, I was here for it. It was interesting, but... So, as I was saying, the cars didn't come, and then all of a sudden, Chris comes, he's in his apron, he's pissed off. Everyone was saying he's being an asshole, but we didn't really see too much. So I definitely feel like they cut out a lot. I definitely feel like there are scenes that we didn't see. Because from what we saw, he did look pissed, but we didn't really see him freak out. And I did feel like, oh my gosh, why are you, Candace is already overwhelmed. Why would you come with that energy to freak her out even more, right? You should have been a little bit more calm and collective. Because at the end of the day, you forgot something, or I don't know, the people didn't show up with the luxury cars, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, this is Candace's music video. This is her career. So if anybody should be super angry, it should be her. And if she's being calm, trying to get this thing shot because the sun is going down in 20 minutes, then you coming on being super angry and disruptive is not going to help the situation. So he might as well have just stayed where he was at. You know what I mean? But he did know well enough that he probably had his freak out, but he knew not to bring that to her, right? I mean, even though I'm pretty sure it still affected her, at least he didn't go up to her, start saying, "What's going on? I told them blah, 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 blah." He kind of kept it over there, so that's good. And it was cute at the end to see them come together and hug and kiss, and it's I feel like they have a bit more chemistry than Juan and Robyn, if I'm going to be honest, right? I do think they have the best chemistry. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Out of all the other ladies, their relationship, they do, but I don't know. I just don't see this really working out. He's not into it. You're setting him up. Everybody's talking crap about him, and that's just going to put more strain on your relationship. Right? He's already kind of talking to Candace in a disrespectful way. So it's this is just going to add to it at this point. And saying that he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have his own thing. He needs to find his own thing. If he likes to cook, let him do that. Let him cook. Get a manager, Candace. So the other ladies can talk crap about, if it was some random guy or random lady that was her manager and they didn't bring the cars or something happened, then cool. You can have a scene with all the other ladies being like, what's going on with her manager and da. And at the end of the day, it's not personal, right? But because it's your husband, anything that doesn't work out, anything that goes wrong, they're going to be talking about him. I don't know. Anyways, guys. That's it. See you guys.